Welcome back. Our last guest is Julie Makin, a psychotherapist specialising in hypnotherapy, and we will be discussing an important question. Are you in control of your anger, or is it controlling you? Welcome, Julie.
Hi, thank you.
So tell us, how does someone know if they're in control of their anger or not?
Okay, well, firstly I would say that there is no control with anger. So what happens when we get angry is our prefrontal cortex actually just switches off. We go into that fight-flight scenario and we have no logic, we have no impulse control anymore. So really I would say that if you're experiencing anger, you're actually not in control. And the way I look at anger is a subsidiary of fear. So what I would ask you next is, what is it that you fear? What is at your base of what it is that you actually fear? What is it that you're avoiding asking yourself?
Okay, so how does anger connect with fear and a deeper belief about yourself?
Okay, so the way it actually works, when we go to the doctor, okay, generally we might have a rash or a physical wound on us, or we're feeling sick or something like that, and we go to the doctor. But when we have something like an internal wound, it gets touched and then we respond from that pain and that hurt. Therefore, the anger comes up. So when I'm not feeling good enough, I'm feeling really hurt and I've got pain, that is going on. And therefore then I am responding with that anger, and I'm putting blame onto that other person. I felt like my words weren't important to this other person. I felt like my words weren't important. And if my words aren't important, then I'm not important. And if I'm not important, I'm not good enough. This is my base belief. So when my base belief of I'm not good enough gets touched like a wound inside. And when I worked it out, okay, so it really has to do with my base belief about how I feel about myself, that I am not good enough. I know that that is what I need to work on. The I'm not good enough. I don't matter.
Do you have advice for our viewers on changing those beliefs they might have about themselves?
Okay, so just a few practical tips. Firstly, if you're starting to feel that anger coming on, I invite you to scrunch your left fist. Make a left fist. Okay, you might also like to try, pushing your tongue up against the roof of your mouth. Perhaps if you're having a discussion with someone else, sitting down at a table and having a discussion, because that also helps when we're seated. But if you really feel that that anger is getting over and above what you're able to contain in that moment, perhaps just say to the other person, look, it's getting a little bit too much for me right now. I just need to take a moment, so I'm going to leave, and maybe we can come back and discuss this, when I feel more balanced, more level. I would say that the first step is simply recognizing it, having an awareness. To me, this is all part of body intelligence, what I've been studying for years. And just coming back to being what is right for you. Start looking at what is right for you. So when you start responding, in the anger, have an awareness. Stop, if you can stop and just recognize what's going on in the body, and start asking yourself, is this right for me? What is it that I truly fear? What's going on here? And once you start pinpointing that, then maybe you can start dealing with it. You can have acceptance over it. Maybe your second step might actually be then seeking professional advice from a therapist, a professional therapist, and once again looking at the different modalities, because not every modality is right for a particular person. But you know what? You don't have to go and talk about your feelings and how, you don't have to get long-winded about the here and now, because what I believe is that the here and now is surface talk. We want to get right down to the root cause so that you no longer have that anger that's coming up. What I would say in the future is for people who perhaps experience anger, there's an emotion that's coming up there with it. But when we're assertive, when we're saying what it is that we need, then we're stating it flatly, there's no emotion attached, and we are able to get our point across without the emotion. But the anger holds the emotion. So assertiveness is where we want to be. It's a place of safety within the body. You're actually probably getting your message across to the other person a lot better than what you would if it's in anger, because when you're in anger and you're yelling and getting upset with the other person, they're probably, going into fight flight, where their, prefrontal cortex is turned off and they're in the emotional state, and they're scared, they're worried, so they're not going to take on what it is that you have to say. So it's so much better for you and so much better for the receiver for you to deliver your message assertively, not from an angry place.
Wow, that's fascinating. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, no worries.
If you would like to know more about controlling your anger and Julie Makin, please visit her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. That's all we have time for tonight. Until next week, goodbye.